but you joined CPK knowing that you are going uphill. In fact, we say that like redfish, we go against the wave, and sometimes we succeed, and most of the times we will succeed. In fact, just like I told you that we have not lost, we have been wounded a bit. So we are out treating our wounds. You know, we are out looking the best arsenal to fight. And in the fullness of time, we will be back in game breathing fire. So comrades, my sisters, my brothers, my option today is to tell you that the Communist Party of Kenya is alive. Because for those of us who have been in this process for the last 15 years, you probably must have understood why we said we will stick with the party and not leave the party. That we will try to solve our problems in the party and try to sort out our contradiction and fight to the logical conclusion. I am happy that I fought to the logical conclusion, and the comrades were with me all through. I was as open as possible. Sometimes you tell me, Booker, no statements, but when you wake up in the morning, you will find a statement saying the actual positions of things in the Communist Party of Kenya, and our struggle to save the people of Game, our struggle to save the people of Siaya. Actually, Siaya is the saddest case. Our struggle to save the people of Kenya. And of course, our global struggle to save the planet, you know, from a barbarity of capitalism. So today, I can tell you, comrades, that my faith has been bolstered. My faith in the Communist Party of Kenya, my faith in these processes, and even my faith in the revolution has even been permanently, actually, you know, upped. And I can tell you that I'm going to continue even more spirited in organizing the party, even more spirited fighting the enemies of the party. Internally, I would like also to say a few things. That if you see, and this I agree with Comrade Beda very much. I think when he spoke about it, I had to sing, because those are the things that matter to me. That if we have differences in our thinking, we will disagree every day. The only reason Comrade Victor and Suji were not fighting every day is because they were on the same ideological page. So there was no reason of distrust or fighting. But the other comrades that had not gone through this ideological process, they were surprised. In fact, today when I woke up, I was telling my comrade Len, look at the working committee WhatsApp group. They have started exposing themselves, and they will continue to expose themselves until they finally leave the party, if they don't rectify themselves. And comrades, you can see those people who have pretended to be in this journey for a long time. And when things become tough, then they dump the revolutionary line, and then they go back to either their tribal line or to the places that butter their bread. Comrade Sunday has been the longest enduring comrade here with us. But I can tell you, he has seen comrades come and go, because revolutionaries are not permanent. Even today, we can accuse our other comrades, our former comrades, the people who have sold the party, and they continue to attack the party, to attack our unity, to attack our strength, is that they were never revolutionaries in the first place. In fact, it is a shame that this election should have succeeded in propelling the CPK agenda in the elections. But in fact, we have degenerated with only at least one MCA and Even a governor that we've gotten is not a governor for CPK because he already left CPK and went and vied independence. And in fact, in game, there was a lot of pressure for me to abandon CPK and to vie as independent. If that was a mistake, then I own it and I want to pay a price for it. Because if you cannot pay a price, then you will be like those people who betrayed Jesus. That you just be with them, and the day he is being crucified, you are the people are saying, no, he was not a good man. But for me, I will never betray you. In fact, if there is any comrade here who doubts my commitment to you, then wait until you are in problems. Or wait until you are in difficulties. Then you will see that Booker is an unrepentant supporter of all my comrades. And I have shown that in the best of my knowledge. For those comrades that have not met the threshold of ideological growth, today we are starting another walk. Don't wait and come in 2026 to try and maling around comrades to look for a seat. It is your time to hone yourself ideologically to become a revolutionary in your own right that can make their own decisions. I can see many potentials in this room, and I can tell comrades that if you are surely a revolutionary, then there is nothing to regret about in game. Because we have been tempered by iron. We have suffered in the entire 15 days. In my journey towards building CPK, I have used a bus to Garissa, where we are being shot at by terrorists around there, to go and build a branch in Garissa. We've come back even putting our life in real danger to try and make sure that every time the party is being lost, we defend it with our blood. At least this is the first time that the reactionaries have found themselves in the middle of us. And in the fullness of time, we'll defeat them. If we don't defeat them, then we only don't defeat them because the instruments they have do not belong to the people. The instruments they have belong to the state. But in actual sense, the Communist Party or the communist movement in Kenya will move from strength to strength. Under my genuine leadership, I will unveil or declare a victory within CPK. That day when I say we have the instrument of CPK, please trust that it has happened. That day that I come to you and tell you, no way, because the only thing that this criminal will have done, Benedict Washera and Mwandawiro, they have already done it. They have done the worst they could have done. They are not building any party. They are not recruiting any cadres. They are not running any study circles. They are leeches on the skin of the working class. And what they were waiting for is an opportunity to negotiate for money and material and positions in government, which they have already done so far. So there is nothing much they can do to hurt you. In fact, you have paid a price already. So I can encourage you that the organization within CPK should continue, and when we want to leave CPK, we should do it when the iron is hot, not as if we are cowing down or, being chased out of the house and then you malinga without even throwing a blow. The people who have robbed CPK must know that there are people in CPK that are willing to fight for the party. In actual sense, they will do nothing. I have seen we have defeated them in the court of public opinion. In fact, Booker has sufficiently prosecuted Washera and Mwandawiro in the court of public opinion. They are walking in Nairobi naked without clothes because they cannot stand in any progressive forum to justify the act of selling a communist party. They cannot stand in any progressive forum and say that, that childish talk they were talking about, that they are going to bring, class consciousness from a force above the working class, that they are going to use the silly narrative of hustler to build the Communist Party of Kenya. It has failed. And I think successfully we have come out as the true leaders of the workers' movement. And I want to tell you that our party is divided. That is a fact. The party is divided into two hostile camps. And we are divided on minority against majority. The minority that has a state support, minority that can win in courts, but the minority cannot win people's hearts. The majority that are revolutionaries are holding on into CPK, and they are continuing every day to win hearts. In fact, one time when we were discussing our elections in game, and we were saying, how can we win the people of game? Maybe this should be clear to those people who are willing to vie for political positions, that we can win people by heart, then you have won them. But if you only win them through the rowdy head, then you have not succeeded. The reason why we were succeeding in game, that the Booker wave and the CPK wave, we had won the game people by their heart. So those comrades that are vying for political positions in game, I applaud you. And if truly you believed in this cause, then every day you will not fail to get an opportunity to sacrifice, to give masses the dignity in game. You will not miss an opportunity to educate the masses in game. You will not even miss the opportunity to do your propaganda in game. And for those who think that if some people have been elected, because now some criminals outside the party or other members of political parties are throwing mud at CPK. But look at their houses. Look at ODM, for example. Can that qualify to be a party? A party of criminals who do not have a political ideology. A gangster party in the name of UDA. So they cannot even accuse the Communist Party of Kenya about our internal wrangles. So to the people who are outside the party, our message to them, go build your house. Stop meddling in CPK affairs. If you are a member of ODM, tell us your political ideology and tell us how your elected leaders in Siaya will help the people. But don't come here and tell us that CPK is in problems. We already know that we have a division in CPK and we have revolutionaries against the reactionaries. And we want to continue to build it. And in history, I think for comrades who have gone through the study circles, if you read the history of the Social Democratic Party of Russia at that time, which was a communist party, we had an internal struggle between the minority and the majority. It was called the Mensheviks versus the Bolsheviks revolution. And the Bolsheviks that committed themselves to sacrifice it, to advance the masses, they are the people who led the socialist revolution. The Mensheviks had a temporary win during the Duma, during some debates and some elections that even were boycotted. But later on they came back forcefully to win the elections. And that comparison can also be brought in today. And we have to admit that our party was never constructed to be a communist party. And we are an opportunity today, comrades, to build a communist party, a communist movement, by its character, by its nature, by its membership, and by its people. You cannot tell me that you're a member of the Communist Party of Kenya and you do not have access to the minutes of the last National Congress. In fact, the minutes of the last National Congress is being given in piecemeal. That a resolution was passed to give a unilateral power for two individuals to make decisions on behalf of an entire movement, on behalf of an entire party. A resolution was made to change the party name from Social Democratic Party of Kenya to CPK. But our demand, even if you look at the court processes, was that we would like our former comrade, that now is a turncoat, Benedict Washira, to share with the entire membership the minutes of the last National Congress. Because the National Congress is the divine, it is the supreme decision making of the party. So if you are here and you are not part of that National Congress, then you should have the privilege to peruse through the minutes and look at the debates that took place during the National Congress. But the minutes cannot be a property for one or two persons. So, comrades, I am happy to tell you that if you want to be a revolutionary, then you must be willing to pay a price. And if you are a good revolutionary, you must have people. You cannot be in Yala and you don't have anyone. Alafu you are saying mimi ni mwana mapinduzi. Unataka kupindua nini? Is that any revolutionary must belong to an organization. If I go to Nairobi, I belong to the Central Committee, or not even the Central Committee, but even the working committees in Nairobi. I attend them diligently. I study with them. I share in their pain. I share in their struggle. And when I am back to Nairobi, I have an entry point. So if you are a revolutionary here, I would like all the political leaders to start out an organizational way to train our cadres to understand our political ideology and to debate and defend it. So if I want to come to Yala, I want to come to Yala to be with comrades. I want to tell Ogonda, call my comrades in Yala. Let's have a meeting. Let us have jokes about this revolution, but let us not discuss things that will not progress the people of game. So let me go briefly and mention the crisis in the party and the way forward. I think that's what you have been waiting for. So first of all, the crisis in the party is actually an opportunity for us to build a powerful working class machine in our country. I do not know how silly I was in the last 10 years to trust comrades that in general fact did not play a major role in terms of building the party. I did not feel even necessary to ask for the deliberation of the minutes of each and central committee or the National Congress to be shared with me. That is how much I trusted my former comrades. That is why now when they were going to court, they just sit down and fabricate minutes and then take to what? To the courts. So the crisis in the party, first of all, started in the way our organization of the party, that is the Central Committee. Last time when we have a Central Committee meeting or the National Congress, we made the most silly mistake to accept that non-revolutionaries, to accept that people could summon their friends, their wives, their girlfriends based on trust to serve in the Central Committee. We know the National Treasurer, the former Comrade Jacinta Kamau, did not get an opportunity to understand Marxist-Leninist line to serve out our National Treasurer. But he was there through, the trust and the sympathy of Comrade Benedict Washira, the former. So how then do you expect to make decisions on party interest that has been overtaken by personal interest? So what do we learn from there? That each and every person that takes responsibility in this party must be the best comrade. He must be the true revolutionary at the place he is. I think in my leadership in game, whatever everybody have against me, but you cannot be having anything against me that I have interfered with the collective decision making of the party. I think when we were choosing the MCAs, there was a central committee that met in each and every ward, and they brought us these products. So if that cannot be done at the central committee level, then there is always a crack. So the best thing that to solve out the party crisis is that each and every person that is in the party leadership must be a revolutionary. must be in a study circle, must be willing to pay a sacrifice to move this struggle forward. So we must organize that before then we can say that our party is going to be this, or we are going to move from CPK to go to another party. But we must continue to build the party units. Those party units will determine for a takeover of the party, or if it's not a takeover of the party, then those party units will unveil a new party to take us to the next elections. Why do I say so? What Wachira and Mwandawiro can do is only to deny us a certificate to vie. Other than that, they can do nothing. They cannot resource the party, because any little resource they got, it's to their personal benefit. They cannot recruit membership of the party. They cannot do liaison for the party, but they want to impose their will. And every time we are always discussing with Comrade Len, he is now not just a comrade, but Comrade Len is my friend, he is my brother, and we talk a lot. That if you are given the position like Len, now we call him General, his general powers as the general does not come from him. That power comes from the people that has appointed you there. If the people of Game had elected me today, it is the power from the people of Game that has been given to me. And they have given me that power to work for them in trust. So that means all of you here in Game has invested Comrade Len with certain powers. And he should use those powers to steer the Game political organization only with the trust and with utmost faith of the party ideology. In the event that he does not do that, then he has declared and violated his, social contract with you people. And therefore we must then act and remove him to put another person who can then, exercise the people's power. And that is what has also happened. I think at one time I was asking Wachira, where do you get your powers from? Maybe some of you are still in the backward society that think power comes from above. But then I was telling him that the powers that you are exercising today come from the membership of the Communist Party of Kenya. And the day you sell out that, the day they saw you with criminals, with murderers, with thieves, that is the same day that you declared the war with the membership of the Communist Party of Kenya. And Booker being a true representation of that membership, I must show leadership to defy such processes. And that is what I did. O Kenya, O Kenya yo, Imara, 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 Imara. So Game will continue to deploy revolutionaries across Kenya. I know sometimes I'm going to appoint some of you to go and lead party work, to start party exercises, because we want to form party units across the country. And I think some of you have been doing that. Sunday has been to Taita Taveta to continue with the party work. Joseph was also in Taita Taveta to continue with the party work. We have sent comrades to Mombasa. And this time when I go to Nairobi, my task will be to get the best comrades in Game and deploy them. In Game, we haven't done deployment. We have found the best comrades in East Game, we have deployed them in South. Sometimes we have deployed East to West, and we continue to create, to create an organization across it. So that is going to be my task, to build the party. Because this struggle cannot be domesticated here in Game. Game is a small constituency. So we have to expand our organization. And I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, we will even come out more powerful as a communist movement in Kenya. On the elections, This was the clearest position that the party ever took. So anybody who is doubting the position of the Communist Party of Kenya, I think is suffering from ignorance. We have been clear since these elections. And in fact, the Central Committee, even with the backward membership, promulgated a document. And that document was our guiding principle towards the 2022 elections. All those people who are vying here, you are meant to adapt your manifestos from that primary document. Myself, I did write my own manifesto, also drawing from experiences from that document. And those of you who have been in the study circles, it was on the 2022 general election. Think outside the box. In fact, that is a document I used to enjoy much. Susan Suji used to talk about it more often. So this whole idea of actually coming out of that important document and now telling us that we have to support this part of candidate because of two individuals was basically the most extreme opportunism in the party. It's like we start a walk, we agree how we are going to walk and how we are going to reach. And we have a compass that is guiding us. We have the torch that is leading us here, which is a document based on Marxist-Leninist line. Then on our way, two of you runs away and come up with something else and tell us, no, there is no canon anymore. We are going back to? We are going back to? So, and then, now you tell them, okay, it's fine, now two of you are okay, let's greet each other and go back. So, I was being asked, what are your comments about the presidential candidates that are coming? That position is in that document. Kama Raila amepata, mapambano bado yanaendelea. Yeah. Ruto akipata, mapambano yanaendelea tena kali zaidi. Because what Ruto will do, he will enhance class contradictions in Kenyan society. What Raila will do, Raila will enhance class contradictions in the society. Because the people will know the truth. That these people who call themselves thieves, when you are on that side, they say you are corrupt. When you are this side, you are corrupt. If you are going against each other, but in actual sense, they are one and the same. You cannot tell me that Ruto supporting that lady calling herself Minji and Raila supporting, what was her name again? Grisha. And there was another lady that was in NYS saga. Waiguru. So these two people, you think they are different. They are only pointing at the corrupt people when they are not favored. So for you, what I can tell you, that you can be emotional about any of those presidents, but I can tell you nothing will change. In fact, the life of the poor people will continue to suffer. The life of the workers will continue to deteriorate. The people who work in the game will continue to be poor. Until we get a pro-people government. And in fact, you have seen our politics at a national level have embraced the democracy of the United States. So it is Trump versus Joe Biden. When they are out of power, they are together. When they are fighting for power, they start calling each other names. So it is democracy, but democracy that is, controlled. Every time Kenyans are going to an election, we always say it is a two-horse race. What happened to other horses? The thing is that they want you to always continue to choose. Sometimes they say, who is a better evil? But in my opinion, why don't we just choose somebody who is not evil? So it will be even proper that, comrades, it should be clear to you that the struggle to liberate the Kenyan people will continue after the presidential election is announced tomorrow or today. A few months ago, I appeared in several media stations. I was discussing BBI. I don't know if you remember. And I was discussing BBI from the heart. That BBI was the most dangerous project that will take Kenyan back. And we discussed it conclusively. Some people then wanted to say that if you're supporting BBI, then you're a Ruto man. Some people wanted to say if you're supporting BBI, if you're supporting BBI, you're a Raila man. But the truth of the matter is, if we empower you to do analysis and know how this world works, then you should be able to make informed choices. In fact, what is the role of revolutionaries? Is to question public wisdom. If you go to game and you find people moving like cows, I know Comrade Okech gave a very wrong example that we used to go to Nyangweso to sing like drunkards. But indeed, we used to go to Wagae to sing and read our party documents. But if you find people moving like cows, you are the person to say, my name is Comrade Ruth. Why don't we think a minute? Is it the best direction for us? Then let us have a conversations around it. Then people will start saying, there is somebody here who is thinking. But if all of us were moving like animals, then nobody is left to think. So those people who have been helping to educate and to lead this process of ideological study, you're on the right track. I think in South Game that we had been dwindling, Comrade Dashes took over that, and at least we are going to the next level. So my position is that the struggle for liberation of Kenya will not stop at the presidency today or tomorrow. We will continue to move even more vigorously to organize the Kenyan people under one communist party, under one movement. And I am willing to lead that process. I am willing to pay a price for it. I am willing every day to think about you people and to think of ways to overcome our challenges and build a stronger movement. Kalimambo, Kalimambo, CPK, Kalimambo, Kalimambo, CPK, Kalimambo, Kalimambo, CPK, Kalimambo, CPK, Tupenjia, CPK, Tupenjia, Tupenjia, CPK, Tupenjia, Tupenjia, CPK, Tupenjia, CPK. Decision making. This one I think also Comrade Beda mentioned it, and you should be faithful to it. Don't only employ it when it is favoring you, but when it is not favoring you, you look at an easy way out. Revolutionary democracy is when people who know something are the people who are allowed to make decisions about that something. That is revolutionary democracy. That means if you people work hard and know about the Communist Party of Kenya, its ideologies, then you are always in a position to be admitted to make decisions that touches on the party, future, and its presence. Because we are not on populism here. A good example that Comrade Beda gave is that you cannot vote who will drive us to Nairobi today. At least you have to choose among drivers and then choose the best driver. So if you are in Central Game and you want to choose the leader of the Communist Party of Kenya, you cannot go to that market in Nyangweso and say, please vote for somebody to be the leader of the Communist Party of Kenya. It is the people who understand the ideas of communism that will continue to then decide on who that person can be. And it has to be participatory, because not all of us understand at the same level. That is why we say that democratic centralism, which is revolutionary democracy, that the lower units of the party must be consulted to discuss things sufficiently. And only when they discuss those things sufficiently that they come to the higher organs of the party. And once the higher organs of the party discuss them and make decisions, then they are orders. Now they are given for implementation and not for this discussion. And I think we struggle with it in the working committee. We used to make decisions and some people want to go and open discussions. While we had already told them, please go to the working committees at the ward level. Go to the working committees at sublocation level. Collect their views. When you come to present those views at the working committee at the game level, then those decisions can only be implemented and not for discussion. And that is democratic centralism. That is our beloved process of making decisions. Organization. So many people will call you, they want to be a member of the Communist Party of Kenya. There is only one way to be a member of the Communist Party of Kenya. That means you have to go through ideological school and be equipped with what Comrade Uncle Ho says, the light that illuminates our paths. And that means you have mastery of Marxist-Leninist as the correct path. The second way to be a member, which is a mass member, is just a mere supporter of the party. And that mere supporter of the party is just to pay a membership card and be a member. But in terms of being a vanguard, to be a cadre, then you must endure. You must have the discipline for self-study and collective study. For those people who cannot study, then you can never be a member of the Communist Party of Kenya. And you should make it clear to people, because the next stage when you are building this party, I am afraid we are going to build it as a purely vanguard party. Because our direction now, I have realized, and most of you have realized from the comments that were made by now the people that are in leadership in CIA, that without force they will not leave leadership. Some of you probably think that one day you will go to the ballot and vote the bad people out. But to me today, I am convinced that there will be only forceful removal of the people who benefit and also, the corrupt leaders in our areas. And that forceful removal of them must be that we have prepared our masses, our cadres, for the final offensive in Siaya, for the final offensive in Kenya, that we will have to use the people's power to remove them. Otherwise, the election is about money laundering. Now we were privileged because we had some resources. We had more support. But assuming we did not have it, did we have opportunity to speak to the people of game? So every day, if you cannot be convinced that the next line of offensive will be a confrontation with the people who steal from people, and it will mean a forceful confrontation. Otherwise, if Dashes wants to vie for an MCA, truth be told, if the Dashes doesn't have money in the next election and is participating in this bourgeois election, his ideas will not be propagated among the people of Southgate. This time we had more support. There are people who are more sympathetic. They supported us. What if they don't support us next elections? Will we give up? So the idea is that we are preparing for a war. And when preparing for a war, all of you should be armed with the political ideology that help you to endure the pain to fight it. And that is Marxist-Leninist line. Some people come home, they ask me, Booker, why are you strong? But I look at them. Did they expect me to be weak? Did they expect me to cry the whole day? Did they expect me to start wondering? After all, what were we going to do in game? Were we not the people who were promising to help the people of game come from poverty? Were we not the hope of game people? If the game people are sad, we will be sad with them. But the people who have prevented our ambition in game, they have stopped the game project midway. They will never see me sad. The last time I think we cried with our working committee members was the second ruling. And I remember telling Comrade Ashton, I will never bow down and moan towards these people. I will go to Nairobi and try to get solutions. And when I will fail, I will walk with my head high. I don't think even when Sunday walks in Sagam, he should be ashamed. Ashamed of who? Of Nyagotada there or who? Or whoever is supporting Elisha Odhiambo there. How can you be proud of people that have won, but they have only one project, to go and steal more? Who can be proud about that? Even this Wedanyiko Mudune here, he walks in, if I was him, I will walk in Yala with my heads up. And sometimes people say that Booker is a bit rude, but I'm never rude. Sometimes I tell the masses the truth, that whoever thinks Booker fails in game does not know, because his fate is sealed, and the fate is poverty. I think you people who have campaigned, if you have not been traumatized by poverty in game, then you are not a person. Because my biggest worry when I walk in game is to see poverty everywhere. In fact, if I had more money, I will carry it to game. Tomorrow in the morning, I will be carrying it to game to try at least and give people dignity there. But now that pain has been extended for 5 years. And even in the election of Orengo now, it's even going to be worse. So you has not stolen. In fact, Pamela has just been giving people her own 100, 200 shillings to access, places to organize. Why should you be ashamed? Is to bow down before criminals. So I hope you can be defiant and continue to be the true friend of the people in game, telling them the truth when it is hard, and celebrating their successes when they progress. Some people, there has been a lot of propaganda now. Some I still feel sad to talk about them in the party, and people that have been attacking the party. Some of them have even cooked propaganda that the rivalry between the factions that is supporting UDA and the faction that is not supporting UDA candidate is about, money issues. The Communist Party of Kenya has no money. In fact, any monies that have been used in game have come from well-wishers, friends, and through my own personal initiative. The Communist Party of Kenya has nothing. In fact, people have just been wondering, why is it that our former Comrade Wachira is leading a high-profile life while he is a person that is in the payroll of the party, and we know what he earns. So when he starts hanging around, high-profile clubs and everything else, then people have been wondering, maybe it's corruption in the party. Which they are right to think about that way. But all of you that have related with me in the party, I've been in the forefront to defend the party ideology, and also to come out to look for sympathizers of this ideology to help us build it. But truth be told, the Communist Party of Kenya has no resources. And in fact, the discussion that we've been having with some of the secretarial members is, how can we have to generate resources from ground? When I went back to Nairobi and we spent the 3 weeks, I think I spent a lot of time with comrades in Nairobi to try and find ways that we are going to help to raise resources to build this movement. And I will continue to do that. So I hope that comrades will share not my pain, but my pride. If you got 3,000 votes and you are vying for an MCA, those are the people who genuinely believe in your ideas. Go look for them, consolidate their support, and let them ask through persuasion to get the support from other people. I think we learn in the study circles that bourgeois election is a measure of how our ideas are rooted in that community. So how many people believe in you? Those people who voted you without any Booker influence, without any other influence other than your own effort. Those are the people who believe in your ideas. Those are the people who believe in those ideas you've been walking there to tell them. So look for them, talk to them, recruit them in the movement, recruit them in the party, and let us start building this party block by block. Leo, Leo ni Leo na mambo. Leo, Leo ni Leo na mambo. Wa mama, usilale kuna mambo wa mama. Usilale mapambano. So the organization of the communist parties is that the National Congress is the divine. It is the supreme making decision body of the party. Anybody who goes against the National Congress, like the two comrades, have violated their contract with us, and we can never treat them as leaders in the party. From now to 2027, there is only one thing they can do: to wait until 2027 to frustrate another lot. We will not wait to be frustrated in 2027. Their powers ended. Do you think Wachira will have the dignity to call for a Communist Party meeting in Nairobi? Maybe for his mother, father, and his girlfriend, and his... Because they have lost it all. So our victory today is that we have been able to consolidate the progressive people in the party. The moral question. I've been reading WhatsApp. I think the issue of morality must be looked at from the communist morality. Some people, younger people I could see in the forum, they're talking about people who are fighting about girls or whatever. Talking about why are we calling people to take alcohol. I don't know who said there will be alcohol here. And all that kind of thing. The only thing is that we must remind them of our moral system, which is in our party documents, that our morality is fidelity to the people. It's the fidelity to the poor people, not cheap morality. If Ruto can steal billions of money that is meant for the people in the hospital and is saying it's a man of God, so now men of God can steal to kill people and they are still moral people? Well, when Comrade Len here find a lady within the movement to get married to, then he is immoral. So the moral equation, there is totally understanding of morality from our perspective is that morality is the true love of the people. If you don't love your people in Ndiru, you don't love your people in Rera, you have no moral code. You can be told that you had, if I have a white cap here, what moral law have I broke? The thing is that if you want to be a communist, love your people to the utter. Sacrifice for them. Give them even when you don't have. Give them hope to live. Then we can say you are a moral person. But don't bring us morality that is being surrounded around here while we are dealing with, for example, what does Elisha do in game? She sings choir. Every time he stands, he sings some, some emotional church song, and then people say his heart is close or his soul is close to. I think even if Jesus Christ ever hear him, he will dissociate himself with him. So the moral question also I wanted to handle, that comrades must continue to study the communist morality. In my opinion, if you do that, then you are going to be the purest of all human beings. Lastly, before I sit, is that we are going to have more meetings. And I would like political leaders to choose the best cadres in your respective areas and continue to train them, to test them, to try them in preparedness for the hardest task, which is party building. Don't say I've sacrificed too much. In the communist movement, every time we should be willing to sacrifice. And I think for many of you who have gotten the privilege to interact with other sister organizations in Africa and in the world, you have realized that the communists, anywhere where there's difficulties, they choose the hardest task. And they will not complain about it. The hardest task is to build the party in game. And when we build the party, we'll either declare victory for CPK, or we will declare a takeover, or we'll declare a new outfit to go to the elections. Because the only thing we were lacking is an instrument to go with to elections. We got the party office. We got everything that the party has, except 2 signatures. That is what we don't have. I know sometimes I felt bad because I did not want to interfere when our comrades, even Victor here and the rest of the comrades who are vying, were being treated unfairly with the same party that the party secretary general openly says that you are vying for him to get allocation from government to build the party. Then why in the same head does he frustrate the people who are also vying with the same party? Kazi ngumu tunaifanya wananchi wenyewe ya kujenga CPK na kueneza nchini. Kazi ngumu tunaifanya wananchi wenyewe ya kujenga CPK na kueneza nchini. Tunaijenga So that is the hardest task, to build a political party that is united profoundly ideologically. How many people today are committing that they are going to take the ideological study even more seriously? If you do that, then I know in the next 6 months, when I meet you people, you'll be a totally new human beings, pure and fresh in the soul, and ready for their continental, their intercontinental, and their regional revolutionary duties. With those very many remarks, I will congratulate the visitors. Today, we always, when we are inviting you for a meeting, we always ask you, please bring your political leaders and then bring your sublocation representative. But this meeting was rather different. We asked the world political leaders to choose your best. That when you are coming to this meeting, just choose the person you think has contributed much to this process. That is how you people made it here. We did not say invite so-and-so, so-and-so. We asked Dashes, look at your team in South Game. Invite the people that have contributed to this process. And that was across the board. So can I have a round of applause for my guests? And I hope I've inspired you to continue with the fight. And please know that in game, hatutaki mchezo. In fact, when I go to Nairobi, I will go to the radio station and ask Elisha Ochieng Odhiambo to publish all the public finance records that he has in the last year before moving to the next year. I will ask him to, do a total audit of all projects that have been done in game under CDF and tabulate it under oversight. I will ask him. I will ask him several things. I will tell him that any monies that you took from Jakoyo Midio when he was alive, give those monies to the children of Jakoyo. I will ask him that all the court cases, if he wants me to declare myself bankrupt, I'm not going to pay him anything. He has to continue to ask the people of game, that every little money has taken, even the one that is willing to take from Dr. Jalango, I will ask Dr. Jalango to ask publicly that Elisha should return the money that has been paid to him. Because you cannot be a person who robs from the public, and anybody who come up with alternative ideas that challenges your leadership, you bribe your way in court to make sure that you bankrupt them. That cannot be a way in game. And you cannot silence us. So, tutawasha moto huko Nairobi in the next few days. And of course, we are going to release a statement about this presidential and also the parliamentary campaign. So with those many remarks, comrades, I want to wish you a good day, a good evening today.